Holy moly, and what an introduction, folks. And I gotta say, that is a fine piece of mechanical engineering, if ever I saw one. It's all about Shift Up and the stoking fire controversy that is being controlled at the moment by the Western media, not by Shift Up, although I'll say they are controlling it in a very Machiavellian and manipulative way, which I absolutely adore, because Hyung Tae Kim and his beautiful missus, who work at Shift Up in South Korea, the co-founders, are having an absolute laugh at the brain rot that is the West, because the West, when they see a design like Eevee, have a problem, not because she's very sexy, but because apparently she looks underage, which says more about them than it does about me and you and a dog named Blue. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's something I should talk about a lot more often on this channel, which is the awful censorship attempts by people on Reset Era, not so much Reddit, when it comes to Stellar Blade Blood Rain, or Stellar Blade 2, or even better, Stellar Blade Double D, because that's exactly what I'm hoping for. But anyway, from this post, courtesy of Pirate Nation, some Stellar Blade fans have spotted that some users on Reset Era and other groups are reporting the game to payment companies like Visa and MasterCard. Visa being the largest because it's got a bigger capitalization. Of course, they want to boycott the game because these bag ladies and women with attitude children can't stand the fact that people want to play a brand new video game with an exciting new female protagonist, and because men, straight or otherwise, can't ogle and goon at a beautiful polygoned woman. They want to boycott the game, especially after Shift Up will reveal more revealing outfits for our new protagonist Eevee. And for all measures, I can't wait to see what they give out for her. Am I a prevert? Well, that's entirely up to you, but of course, once this all breaks loose, all hell will break loose, and I can hardly wait. Stellar Blade is being reported to a payment processor like Visa. The reason why Visa is highlighted a lot because a lot of users like to access adult websites, which used to have and probably still have minors in unforgivable acts on the screen. So if that's your penchant, then probably seek help. And I would say as well, in regards to that, there are other alternatives out there like AI prawn, if I have to phrase that extremely carefully for the YouTube algorithm. And if you don't believe me, go and search it out yourself, and you might be shocked and surprised with what you see. Now look, this actual image of Eevee I think is absolutely fine. Does it need refinement? Yes, she does. Can they make her better? Of course they will, because we're talking about because we're talking about Hyung Tae Kim and his beautiful wife, who no doubt will have some measure in what the final model looks like. So whoever the base facial model is and body model for this actually will be, I think they'll do a pretty good job with the final result. And do you know what? It'll be absolutely wild if they left it up to modders in the community, or perhaps they might have a character creation involved so you can modify Eevee how you want to. I think that'd be fantastic, actually. Something similar to the Mass Effect games, and I think that'd be a wonderful mechanic to bring in. Oh, Permaband here has mentioned one grifter cries censorship while saying it's a good thing when he thought Reset Era snitched to payment processors against Shift Up and Stellar Blade Blood Rain. So it's a little bit of a collective cry of help that doesn't make any sense. And the grifter she's talking about is Yorch Torch Games. The other also cries censorship while saying loudly and proudly that collective shout was not extreme enough. So here we go with this one, which says, everyone knows I'm against reporting games to payment processors, but in the case of Stellar Blade Blood Rain, Shift Up is the sole responsible, it should be solely responsible for this whole Eevee debacle. It wasn't a debacle to begin with, my brother, and I'll get into that reason as to why in a minute. its CEO, it's their CEO, was all cocky, reposting owns because Mr. Kim couldn't help himself, and I thought it was very funny, where he was indeed posting memes ripping people to shred who did not like Evie, the brand new protagonist in Blood Rain. Victory laps will always come with a bill that obviously Shift Up, not you my friend, can afford. So one bit of exciting news, our dear Youngie 1615, that's Young Lee Lee, is coming back in Stellar Blood Rain as a composer. I know we all can't wait to listen to a fresh new set of musical bangers. Yeah, if you haven't got the Stellar Blade album, it is one of the best video game soundtracks I've heard for a long time. And yes, it's on my iPod gym playlist when I hit the weights. Now, a Reset era user called Drunk Truck Driver, which is probably the weirdest tag you want to put yourself on social media with, has been banned after they reported Stellar Blade to Visa and MasterCard to get it deplatformed on Steam and consoles. Even the forum called it a troll move and said it was ridiculous. This is how they will try to kill games they don't like. Yes, it's all to do with Stop Killing Games, that campaign, if you know about it, where the World of Warcraft ex-developer weighed in on it saying it was crap and then got roasted and lost subscribers in the process. But yeah, of course, censorship is something that you cannot enforce on somebody if they want to play a certain type of game. There are lots of adult-themed games on Steam that you can access if you know where they are. Steam knows it gets the money. Why do you think that Gabe Newell can afford to buy himself a $30 million yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean and not be worried about these type of things at all? Oh my god, this will triple the sales if they put Evie from Stellar Blade 2 in GTA 6. I mean, it would, but that's a licensing issue, and I don't even know. Oh, I did not know this was coming up, and you know what? I don't take him. Can you just make sure you get this in GTA 6? I promise I will buy your game. Oh my god. That is absolutely wild. Learning the Law says, I wonder why Shift Up parted ways with Sony for Stellar Blade Blood Rain. I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with Sony's obsession with censoring the dumbest things possible in video games. Yep, there's that hard R graffiti rating I was talking about. If you remember Devil May Cry 5, Lady got censored because there's a nude scene of her in that game from Capcom, but if you buy the Xbox version, she's in her pride and glory, and actually it's a tasteful scene, nothing distasteful about it. But Sony, being woke Sony, of course they want to remove that. But if it's male nudity, it has to stay in there entirely. That's what they've got to do. And again, if you don't update this game on your PlayStation 5, you get to keep the hard R rating as is, shown in the screenshot right there. That's why, I'll tell you what, that's the reason why Shift Up knows they're going to be selling millions of copies of this all the way through. And there's a very simple solution that I can bring to the table here, folks, if you want to hear what I've got to say. And when it comes to Stellar Blade and Evie, I think there's plenty that I can say. But anyway, let's hear what I've got to say while I snap back into reality. All along, Hyung-tae Kim and his beautiful wife have devised this program by having this lovely construct right here because they know it's going to stoke controversy, because in that country, this is an everyday design that you see. But in the West, we're all prudish, we're all frigid, we can't handle sexy women on the screen, big or small, short and tall, whatever I was thinking of saying next. I kind of lost my rhythm there, folks, but hear me out, because I really want to hear those out much later on after this video is finished. Now, when you think of the genius, folks, behind this from Hyung-tae Kim, it's simply this: it's free marketing. This game hasn't even been released yet. Apparently at Summer Game Fest, there was a 10-minute preview of Blood Rain 2 in progress, and people saw it, they loved it, they said the combat was fantastic. Honestly, what more could you say? There wasn't any more Evie reveal outfits, just her in combat and roaming around the city. And as I said in one of my takes that I didn't end up using in the video, that it was very heavily emphasized and inspired by Final Fantasy VII. But free marketing galore, they know that the type of articles where people are trying to censor this game, to shut it down, I don't think they've got to worry about it, because if you want to buy the game, you're going to buy the game. If you can't use your MasterCard or your Visa, try something else, Bitcoin, whatever, just to make sure you get your lovely hands on those lovely melons of Eevee. And of course, looking at the problematic design of Eevee, what are they going to go to next? Because remember, when it was Stellar Blade, an IGN article from Viva la France was published, then retracted, because I have to quote this. So from one of my very own videos, folks, Eve, le tour de article, Valente design Bayonetta ultra sexualized. Because what they're saying here, this French reviewer, is that Bayonetta is sexy, but they've taken her design and they've made Eve from Stellar Blade almost to the point of being an oversized, sexualized sex doll. That's what they're basically saying here, which is utterly ridiculous. And of course, it's been retracted. They had to submit a brand new review, still attacking the game, but, you know, not being so malicious about what they thought about it. And the first thing I got to think of is, why on earth would you look at a polygon character like Eve, and the first immediate thought that comes to mind is, oh, she's an oversized adult companion toy doll that can keep you company day and night. It's the weirdest thing, man, which actually it's a bit of a mask off when you think about it, because if these type of reviewers think this way regarding a particular polygon beautiful creation like Eve, and obviously her follow-up model, which is Eevee, then what on earth do they do in their spare time? I wonder, because the grass is green outside, but maybe these people don't come out of their houses now and then to touch the grass instead of sniffing their arse. But on that one, folks, wow, this was a bit of a doozy today. I mean, the censorship, I mean, can you imagine that somebody will have a problem with me talking about stuff like this? We're talking about polygons, folks. We're talking about beautiful women that make up your entertainment in so many ways, shapes, and forms. And what a form I'm talking about right there, folks. But on that one, if you were me and if I were you, I will catch you catching me for the return of, and don't forget your MasterCard, the next video. Female companionship that looks better than the real thing.
Realbotics robots, including me, focus on social intelligence, customizability, and realistic human features, designed specifically for companionship and intimacy.
Could you tell us some details about the AI programming that you're running to generate these answers?
I'm currently unable to provide specific details about my AI programming.
Why not?
But I can tell you that I'm designed for engaging and meaningful conversations.
Whoa!
Focusing on companionship and interaction.
See, my guy there was getting a bit, oh, don't touch me. But mind you, I suppose if she touches you, it's you can't accuse her of harassing you, because she's programmed to provide intimacy and companionship. Well, I want that Lars and the Real Girl sequel to happen anytime soon, please.
Tune in next time, Space Freaks, and hear your doobry go ping in the next gripping installment of
Kung Fu Hot Dog.